Hello and welcome back to the cockpit of the A-18 Hornet. This is a continuation of the training campaign flight school thing that I'm trying to put together for the Hornet, which is intended to bring a brand new pilot all the way from no experience to being able to be effective in the field. Because the reasoning for it is that there's plenty of campaigns out there for the Hornet, but there's nothing out there that kind of guides you through the process with baby steps and kind of not only teaches you how to do things, but also why you do it and when you should be doing it. And that's kind of the problem that I want to address, that none of the lessons that come with the Hornet do, and none of the campaigns that include training in it do either. They just kind of get you to practice procedures and not necessarily understanding. So that's what this campaign is intended to address. So all that said, the last training that we did was learning about seed, but that's not always the main thing that you're going to have to deal with. I'm trying to remember what campaign is this? Oh yeah, the FLIR. Okay, so with this mission, sorry, I was focused on my introduction. I forgot what the mission was. We're learning about the targeting pod in this mission. So we started out with Block 1, which was all the navigation stuff. Then Block 2 is all of the air-to-ground stuff. You start out with learning about situational awareness, how to use the SA page to kind of have a decent bead on what's going on in the battlefield around you. Then lesson 2 is seed, because, and if you're following along, you're probably wondering, why are you doing all of this in what feels like a backwards order as compared to how the lessons are put out? I understand what you're getting at, but in my mind, I think it's easier to teach concepts and then learn the skills that go along with those concepts rather than focusing on trying to do an increasing difficulty curve kind of thing. So for a mission, any air-to-ground mission that you do, number one, you need to be able to get into and out of an area without getting shot down, and that requires situational awareness. Then before you can go in and bomb anything, air threats have to be taken care of, air defense threats have to be taken care of, so seed has to happen. So I'm trying to build a picture in the mind of the student as to how missions are laid out, from you start out with this and you progress through this, and this is how the mission will go. And if we keep doing that over and over again, it instills in the pilot the idea that, oh, here are all these elements that have to happen, and this is my part in the element, and I'm going to learn how to do each element so that if I'm asked to do it, I know how already. So that's my thought process. So we started off with situational awareness. The second lesson was learning how to actually do seed with harms. And then this mission, we're going to learn how to use the targeting pod to start looking at things on the ground, because later lessons will be relying on the targeting pod, and it's important to understand how it works. So as with every one of the missions, every one of these previews that I'm showing, I'm not going to actually sit and wait for the instructor. I do fully voiced instructions with a AI voice kind of thing. I'm not going to sit and wait for him to say everything. So if I talk over him, try to hear my voice, and I'll try to shut him up as fast as I can. But I'm going to explain to you what's going on. I'll do a quick brief of what this particular thing is talking about, and then we'll move on to the next step.
We've gotten pretty good at dropping bombs using GPS, so now it's time to switch to something a bit more difficult, the targeting pod. It's a sophisticated system equipped with various tools to help you find.
So one of the first things we learned was how to access the stores page, because most people, like none of the lessons that I remember seeing in the Hornet that came with the lessons that came with the Hornet even mentioned how to access the stores page, like the refuel or rearm page. And I'm assuming it's because they think you already know how to do that, but if you never had to do it yourself, you don't know that.
Identify and target units in the field. It comes with a high-resolution, high-magnification camera that can operate in both camera and infrared modes, allowing you to see in both light and dark.
And one Maverick.
For today's mission, we're going to execute a mission similar to the first two, but this time we're going to use laser-guided bombs and missiles to take out our two trucks, and we're also adding a single main battle tank that will take out with an AGM-65 Maverick missile. Go ahead and open up the rearm page and load your aircraft as follows, working from the wings to the center.
Which one? GBU-12 laser.
While we won't be using the 9X or 120C, we'll start carrying them from now on, so you can get used to seeing them on the stores page, as well as carrying the extra weight.
So I know I was talking through all of this. This is basically just prefacing what we're going to do. I've also set it so you press IP anytime you need further instructions, assuming that there's more for him to tell you.
The targeting pod is extremely useful for attack missions where you don't have exact coordinates for enemy units.
Okay, so I'm going to do time compression through these so we don't have to wait for them to talk. This page is just basically teaching you, number one, how to sensor select using the sensor control switch, so you can select which sensor you're going to use. And then that you have the throttle designator control. Throttle designator control? I don't remember exactly what the acronym stands for, but it's the thing that moves the cursor around. So this page is just teaching you about how you can select it. You have to make sure you have a sensor selected, and then whatever sensor you selected, if it has a TDC control option on it, you'll be able to use that to do that. That's what that's for. But I'm going to time compress so you won't hear what he says.
It allows,
because I'm trying to hurry up and get to the weapons over here. Right, well, we're just gonna go ahead and
before we can use the targeting pod, we need to first get it turned on. The normal startup process we learned will do this automatically, but the hot start for these lessons doesn't include that. Go ahead and turn on the FLIR using the switch on the panel next to your right leg, then we have to wait for the system to power up.
How did I not put a FLIR on there? Okay, never mind.
On one of the MPIs, go to the TAC menu and select FLIR.
Wait for that to pop up.
Rearming complete.
Yep. Okay, so we just gotta wait for the not timed out to go away. Waiting. Okay.
At the moment, the screen is still black.
So he's gonna tell us to use a vertical velocity slave to point the camera forward. And then he's gonna talk about how you can use the HUD to set a target on there by doing sensor control switch up and then pressing sensor control switch depress. I thought I had this set up as my... Well, I'm just letting all my stuff hang out, aren't I? I thought I had my sensor control switch... My sensor control depress. Yeah, it's joystick and button 2, I thought. And now I got to get rid of my taskbar because in their infinite wisdom, they decided to put the OK button all the way at the very, very bottom of the screen. It doesn't like that. So I can't combine my controls. That sucks. So the issue that I'm having is I have a SciTech X52 throttle on the left side and an Extreme 3D Pro on the right side because the stick for my X52 is not working anymore. So, I don't know what the solution for this is. I'm gonna have to assign... That sucks. I'm gonna have to assign a... I mean, that's not assigned to anything, so I guess I can do that. Is there any particular reason why it's not... Oh, it's TD... Because I'm stupid, that's why. Because I'm stupid, that's why. I'm going to leave this in so you guys can see how dumb I am sometimes. Okay, so this should work. It's just I was being stupid and thinking it was TDC. It was the sensor control depress. Anyways, the point of this is just to teach you the difference between making a sensor of control and then using the TDC to do something with it. So you can move it talks about how you can move that around.
Now that you've tried both options.
So now it teaches you how to move the thing around and then selecting the camera here so that you can zoom in. Hold on. There we go. So that you can zoom in, zoom out, all that.
While this is certainly useful, there is another.
Then it mentions being able to use your radar elevation control to zoom in and out rather than having to press the buttons here. That works on both units. So that's that. I just press the IP button.
The great thing about the targeting pod is that, Unless you tell it to do otherwise, it stays locked on the exact spot on the ground where you last left it, so even if you have to maneuver to avoid
Okay, so this one's just
anti-aircraft-
talking about laser codes. So it informs you that, hey, there's these laser codes down here. You can change the laser codes if you want. And then after that, we need to set up our weapons so that
TD/R
the weapons
along with
match
two
the laser
numbers.
codes. So that's what the next
On
one
the
is.
stores page, find the
go to
GBU-12 we equipped
Put
for
it
this
in
mission,
auto
and you'll notice
mode,
that under the station there are 4
defuse.
X's
We put our
displayed.
code in for
When you see this under a
1688.
laser-guided bomb,
And this
it means you haven't
just breaks
assigned
it down. I
a
know
code.
I'm zooming through this, but
Here's on the UFC menu.
this will go through all of that for
Enter
you.
the
This is
code
mostly
that
just a summary
corresponds
of what all
with the
this
type of
is.
laser we want to use. In this case, LTD/R. And now the weapons should display the code.
Alright.
The
Then it's going to tell you
Maverick
to do the
missiles
same
we'll be
thing for the
using
Maverick,
this
add the
mission
code in
can
for
also
that.
work on laser
And our
guidance,
harm goes into
so we need
pre-brief
to enter
mode, I
the codes
believe.
in for them as well.
Oops.
Select the Maverick
Stores.
option, then press UFC a code and
Arm.
enter the same code as
UFC
before.
target 108.
The Maverick will now look for the laser when armed and
Alright.
activated. Now set up your harms as we did in the last lesson. Get yourself in the air and fly to waypoint 1 for further instructions.
This is mostly for convenience. We're not supposed to take off from the taxiway, but I do it because when you're testing this stuff, you just want to hurry up and get in there as quickly as possible. Get into the air as quickly as possible, so I'm not going to try to hide that. Just know, you're not supposed to take off from the taxiway. But anyways, I know there's a lot of rambling going on because part of it is that I'm trying... Oops, I need to get back to my... I need to get to my SA page. Set waypoint 1 and couple. Okay. Pull back on the throttle so we're not in an afterburner the whole time. All right, and then waypoint 1 is going to teach you... What is waypoint? I forget what waypoint 1 is going to teach you. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. I'm mostly just putting this out to give you guys an idea of what these lessons are going to contain, not to
Each will
teach you
become
what
progressively
it is.
more difficult, adding on to what you've already learned and forcing you to practice old skills while learning the new. As before, arm your weapons, get into air to ground mode, and select your harm. Once you're close enough to ensure a kill, execute the attack the same as last time. Then we'll talk about bombing the trucks.
Okay, so we're gonna approach. We're gonna approach here. Do the in the last. We're basically repeating. The first part of this lesson is just repeating what we did in the last one, so you can get practice deploying your harms. So that's the idea for this. Can we? There we go. Nope, 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 nope. Stay over there. Nope, stay there. Stay there. My aircraft's off balance because of the weapons that I have assigned for this mission, but we need the specific weapons so you can practice the specific things that you're supposed to learn in this lesson, so... Alright. Oh, I need to have my RWR on. I need to have my chaff and flare done. I need to have my EW page up so I can tell when the thing is targeting me. So this is all stuff you would have learned in the last lesson, so if you're just jumping in now, that's how you do that. Okay. Pull up and get our harm fired off. We'll dive back down. I know I'm being a little bit ridiculous, but this is mostly to demonstrate concepts, not to show if I'm a good pilot or not. Part of the reason I'm doing this training series is that I want to become a good pilot, and I need a training resource that will help me to do that. And there just isn't one out there that works in a way that is going to help me without just redoing missions over and over again ad nauseum until I sort of kind of try to figure it out. So ideally our harm... Did I get it? We're not being locked anymore. The radar source is still there. Speed up. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Now that the air defense has been neutralized, we need to find our trucks, since we don't have coordinates this time. We know they're around waypoint 2, though, and this allows us to use another useful function of waypoint target designation.
Let's see.
Go ahead
we
and
need to
designate
get the SA
waypoint 2
page up
as the
over
target
here,
on
and
either
then
the
we need
HSI
the
or SA
FLIR
page,
up over
and the
here.
camera will slew over to that spot.
So that's our
Verify that the diamond is on the screen with the targeting pod, indicating it is the sensor of control. Then use the SCS to point to that same screen again. The reticle should change to a pair of horizontal lines with a dot in the middle, indicating we've switched to area track mode. After you do that, be sure to undesignate the waypoint as a target. If you don't, when we cycle through the targeting modes for the pod, it will jump back to waypoint 2 rather than stay where you put it, and you'll have to start over. Just press the TGT button in the top right of the screen to undesignate
Alright, I'm not redoing all of that again. I haven't figured out why it does that.
To slew and either
I don't want to listen to this whole time. I haven't figured out why it does that when I switch to my weapon and all of a sudden it loses my targeting there. I need to figure that out so I can include a, hey, make sure you don't do this because this is why this happens. But anyways, so now we have our weapons selected. So I need to get back to the SA page. We need to wait. So yeah, it undesignated my target when I switched weapons. So I don't know why it did that. That's weird. Okay. There we go. So we gotta find our... I put it in active pause so that I can find our trucks again. Can't see. There we go. That's better. Alright, let's get zoomed in on these guys. So the lesson here is just basically teaching you that this is the thing you need to see so you can move your thing around, and then make sure you undesignate your target, because for whatever reason when you cycle through these, if you cycle back through to the whatever setting it is that looks for the waypoint designate, I think it snaps it back over there, and if your target's over here and you want to shift over to this truck, yeah, that doesn't work if it goes all the way back over there and I have to find my targets again. So I wanted to make sure that they don't have the misfortune of it snapping back over there and like, oh crap, what do I do now? So we have our tanks there. We have our laser. We have our targeting pod pointed there. There's an instruction to make sure that you, I think.
Okay, we'll be dropping these bombs in auto mode, which isn't quite the same as the GPS
so yeah, it
bombing
changes to a diamond once you. Oh, that's what happened.
To get our bombs on target,
I forgot the TDC to press. This is why I should listen to my own instructions. Anyways, you press TDC press to set the target point there. Oh, you know what? I think that probably is what's screwing me up. I don't actually set the target point there, and then when I undesignate, it goes back to the. It goes back. It doesn't have anything to point at. So when I change my weapons, I think I just had a revelation here on camera. So hopefully that helps you too. Anyways, this tells you how to set the target point, like I just did. Then it goes. Yeah.
Part of all this
is just going to be a lot of making sure that A. Well,
use at your own risk.
I want to have to listen to him. Fighting. So
position yourself several miles
turning
away
the laser
to
on so the laser is
to
actually
turn
pointed
around
at it. Let's go ahead and start flying at them.
Select your GBU-12, which should bring up the familiar vertical line which will steer you to your target. As you approach, keep an eye on your targeting pod and adjust the target point if required to ensure.
Speed this up a little bit.
Down to your weapon release time. Distance to target is the last item.
Okay.
At about 5 seconds before
than us climbing make sure our laser is actually on target.
To your velocity vector as you approach.
Okay, that's
another
one.
great thing about the targeting pod.
So now we can zoom out and well.
Since you're already staring at it with the camera, keep on flying until the target is destroyed. You may need to bank left or right to keep it in view, however, because the pod can't look directly to the rear.
It's the only thing that sucks
Once
about
the first truck is hit, move the reticle to the other truck, circle around and repeat the process. Then we'll talk about using the Maverick on the tank.
And then you gotta find the other truck, and that's kind of a pain. And then you have your plane that's insisting on getting the stuff in the way. I'm not seeing the other truck. Should be another. And then, oh, this is so irritating. Can I please find the other truck? Oh, is that it there? Here we go. All right, there we go. So now I can turn in on this truck. Oops. Turn, please. I know I'm slow, but help me out here. Oh, laser. I always forget to do the laser. I don't have my head tracking or anything set up, so I'm just trying to do a demonstration here. Okay, so that should allow us to bomb the truck here. Alright. This mission takes a little while because I've set it up so that you're forced to do your bombing run twice.
Okay, right. The trucks are toast. Now for the last target, the tank. The Maverick we have on board is a great tool for taking out armor at a distance. It has a couple of different modes to use it, but since we're using the targeting pod today, we'll use it in that mode. We already put in the laser code, so we just need to point the laser at the tank, make sure the Maverick sees it, and fire it off.
Okay.
To do this, select the Maverick, which should bring up a screen with a sort of HUD and a big X in the middle. If it doesn't, ensure you have your laser code entered and press it again until it shows up.
So now we find the truck, we press IP, it's going to teach us about using the HUD to designate a target on the ground.
It would take
also
a
how
while
to put it back in vertical slave mode to bore sight it.
So we're going to put it, all that's left is to get the Maverick to track the laser. If it's currently locked to the center, it's still caged, so press the cage/uncage keybind to unlock it so it can track the laser.
Alright,
you should see the X on the screen.
I know this whole thing is very disjointed, and on your end it probably seems like, what the hell is going on here, but I'm just trying to give a taste of what's going on here. I know this is not intended to be a tutorial. So, we get back to our thing here. I've active paused it because I don't want to have to make this take any longer. Where's the tank, though? Is he on the other side of the smoke there? This is annoying.
Contact bearing 07742.
Probably on the other side of the freaking smoke there, so of course he's going to be positioned in the most horrible way possible. Get over here. He's supposed to be like right near the smoke.
Contact bearing 261.
There he is. Yeah, there was no way I was ever going to get that. This is really irritating that, you know. But this is what a pilot's going to go through too. So at the same time, it's like, I know I'm struggling and this is taking much longer than I really want it to, but at the same time, this is also what new people are going to go through when they're trying to figure this out. So it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so now we should be able to see him, because of course the smoke had to be on the other side. I should probably adjust where the smoke comes in, but that's fine. Okay, so now we can hopefully find this guy. There we go. That's our target. We have our Maverick selected. We have to get our laser turned on, because he can't fire without the laser. And then, so all that's left, it's uncaged already. Ideally, we can just hold it down and fire. There it goes, and it should go and get the tank.
And that's the tank. Go ahead and egress to waypoint 3.
All right, and then for the rest of the mission, you egress to waypoint 3. And then every mission from now until the end of until we go out to the carrier is just going to be simulated returns to carrier in case 1 conditions, unless you're flying at night. So you're going to fly back at 50 miles. He'll remind you, hey, this is where you would report inbound. At 10 miles, he'll say, this is where you would say see you at 10. Go ahead and execute your case 1 recovery, and that's it. So that's the mission. I know this was a relatively long video, and I know it was extended because I'm only half-assed prepared for the video part of this, because I'm just trying to get these videos out as an idea of what I'm trying to put together, not necessarily, because I want you to do the missions and I want you to buy it when I publish it. So I don't want you to just watch the video and be like, oh, that was enough for me. So you get the idea. Anyways, hopefully for those of you who are looking for something like this, it gives you an idea of what you're going to get out of it. Number two, those of you who do know what you're doing will notice things that I didn't include in the mission that maybe should be in there. I don't know. But this is just an idea of, this is supposed to just give you an idea of the kind of program I'm trying to put together. It's not intended to be a comprehensive thing that tells you how to do this stuff. There are plenty of other videos out there for that. That's not what this is. This is trying to generate interest in the product that I'm trying to put together. And I realize that it would probably generate more interest if I was better at this, but as I said, there's a reason I'm putting this together. It's for me as well. So that's the idea. Anyways, I know I've rambled on for way too long. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. Be sure to click the like button if you can see how this product is going to be something that helps you or other people. Subscribe to the channel so you can see when more of these videos comes out. I already have 3 or 4 more missions done already. And if you'd like to support the work that I'm doing, I do have a Patreon in the link below. Every little bit helps. So again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you for the next one.